So far we have looked at straight line, double declining balance, and units of production. But we've all only looked at if the asset were purchased on January 1st and we held it for a full year. Well, does companies always purchase on the first day of the year? Absolutely not. So now we need to go back and review, well, what happens if we purchase mid-year? So let's look at this example, partial year depreciation. On April 10th, 2012, we purchased equipment for $120,000. The equipment has a 10-year life and a $12,000 salvage value. Calculate depreciation for 2012 and 2013 using the straight line method. Well, first off, let's review the straight line formula. What is the straight line formula for calculating depreciation? Cost minus salvage value over useful life in years. You need to know this formula. Cost minus salvage value divided by useful life in years. So there's three things, again, we need to know to do straight line. We need to know the cost, and in this case the cost was $120,000. We need to know the salvage value of $12,000, and then last is the useful life at 10 years. So let's put it into our straight line formula and see what we get. Cost of $120,000 minus $12,000, and then we divide that by 10. So 120 minus 12 gives us $108,000. If we divide that by 10, we end up with $10,800. Now keep in mind that's $10,800 per year. When did we actually purchase this asset? Well, if you look back at our original problem, it said April 10th. Did we hold it for a full year? Absolutely not. A full year would have been January 1st through December 31st, assuming year end is December 31st for our company. So what we need to do for 2012 then is take that $10,800 per year and we need to prorate it. So how many months did we hold it? Now a lot of people try and go in and think, oh no, April we only held for partial month. Well, that is true. We purchased on April 10th. But typically for depreciation, what we do is if you hold it the majority of the month, you count the entire month. If you do not hold it for the majority of the month, you omit the month. So in this case, we purchased it on April 10th. So in that case, we held it for the majority of the month. So we're going to count all of April. So when we count this up, it would be April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and December. So we're going to multiply that by a total of 9 months out of a possible 12-month cycle. Okay? Now again, let's say we had purchased this on April 20th. Well, on April 20th, we would only use 8/12 because the 20th is not holding it for the majority of the month. Our rule is 15 up, or 15 down, then you've held it for the whole year. 16, for the whole month. 16 up, you don't count that month. So again, don't worry about day counts. If you hold it for the majority of a month, you count the entire month. So April 10th, we count April. That gives us 9 months. So if you multiply that out, you get $8,100. That would be the depreciation expense for the year. So let's look at this. So we look at our years. 2012, we'd have depreciation expense of $8,100. And again, what is accumulated depreciation? Remember, the accumulated depreciation is the sum of all expenses. So that would be $8,100 as well in year one. Now let's talk about 2013 because it said do the depreciation for both years. Well, what would be our expense in 2013? Well, in 2013, we're back up to a full year because we would have held the asset from January 1st through December 31st of 2013. So we go ahead and put $10,800. We do not need to recalculate it because remember, straight line, once you calculate it once, that is the annual number. So as long as you hold it for a full 12 months, there's no need to go back and recalculate. And then what would that bring our accumulated depreciation to? Well, accumulated would be $18,900. Again, it would be the $8,100 from the prior year, okay, plus the $10,800 from the current year. If you add those two together, that gives you the $18,900. Okay? All right. Very good. Hopefully you sort of see how straight line works. Keep in mind you need to pay attention to those start dates when you purchase it, because if you did not purchase it and hold it for a full year, you have to prorate that first year.